Most people think that Diana requires a setup worth billions of coins in order to make good money. Well, what if I told you that you could make over 60 million coins per hour with a setup which is worth less than 50 million coins? Or nearly 100 million coins per hour with a setup worth just under 200 million coins? Well, today I will show you how. So without further ado, let's get on to the guide. This is the setup which you'll need for today's method. For your pet, you're going to be wanting to use a common griffin pet. This is because it will stop you facing any hard mobs, therefore ensuring that you can one-tap everything and get through mobs as quickly as you possibly can. For your armor, you're going to want to use 3-Force Challenger armor with a Crown of Greed as a bare minimum. You can use other sets like the Crimson set is good. You can use a Crown of Avarice if you're really rich, but the bare minimum is Challenger armor with the Crown of Greed. For your armor, you're either going to want to put it on Fierce or Ancient if you need damage, or on Necrotic if you need mana. The 2x stats of the Challenger armor is incredibly useful, as this also doubles the effects of Reforgers. So for every piece that you've got on Necrotic, this will give 240 intelligence, which is a hell of a lot. So if you put 2 or 3 pieces on Necrotic, that should be more than enough mana to make sure that you never run out. You can also use the Challenger equipment, or if you have a Rift necklace or David's cloak, you can use those as well. With a reforge of your equipment, either put it on menacing or strengthened if you want damage, or again, you can use brilliant if you need intelligence. You're going to need an aspect of the void with Ultimate Wise 5 transmission tuners and ideally the Ether Warp ability as well, and this will set you back about 20 million coins or so. Definitely worth it, makes you get around the hub really easily. I would definitely recommend this. For your weapon, you can either use the aspect to the void if it does enough damage for you, or if you want something with a bit more damage, you can get a Sword of Revelations or a Daedalus Blade. These weapons cost less than 10 million coins, not very much for a weapon which can one-tap anything. But again, if your aspect to the void already one-taps, there is no need to get a secondary weapon. You're going to need at least 1500 mana to ensure that you don't run out when you're going around the hub. If you are running out, getting the Sighted power from Maxwell, the Thaumaturgist, can be useful. Sighted will give you roughly 100 intelligence per 100 magical power. So with about 300 or 400 magical power, you will have about 400 intelligence, which this should be plenty for getting around the hub easily. 400 mana plus about 1000 from the armor set, that's about 1500 mana, and of course you will get some mana from other sources as well, like the God Potion and things like that. That's already 2000 mana, which is plenty more than enough to be able to do Diana effectively. So get at least 300 or 400 magical power and you should be absolutely good. Now we need to talk about the spade, and this is the most important part of your setup. You're either going to need the tier 2 archaic spade, and this will only cost you a few million coins. You can also upgrade to the tier 3 Dayfix spade. This is going to set you back about 200 million coins, but the increase in profits will be crazy. We'll get onto profits in just a minute. Some other nice QOL features include things like travel scrolls, which will make getting around the hub even easier and mean you don't have to use as much mana to get across the map. I'd highly recommend you at least get the museum travel scroll. The castle travel scroll is also very nice, although will require MVP+, and the other travel scrolls, while they're nice, are too expensive to be worth it. Let's now talk about the profits for this method. There are 2 types of burrows in Diana. Mob burrows spawn 75% of the time and will have a random common mob which will be really easy to kill. However, 25% of the time you will get a treasure burrow, which has a chance of obtaining coins, griffin feathers, or crucially mythos fragments, which are currently worth a ridiculous amount of money. You have an approximate 65% chance of dropping a griffin feather. Presuming you get an average 550 burrows per hour, and in a second I'll show you how to increase your burrows per hour, this would equate to roughly 80 griffin feathers every single hour. This is about 7 million coins, not bad but nothing crazy yet. In terms of coins, you only really, if you have a tier 2 spade, get a negligible amount of coins per hour, less than 1 million. If you have a tier 3 spade, you get a bit more, on average about 3 million coins per hour, just from having coins from burrows. The Mythos fragments is where it gets really interesting. At the time of recording, each fragment is worth approximately 7.5 million coins. With a tier 2 spade, you have an approximate 6.76% chance to drop a Mythos fragment from a treasure burrow. So about 10 times as rare as griffin feather. With a tier 3 spade, this increases to 9.31%. With that average 550 burrows per hour, you get about 8 fragments per hour with a tier 2 spade, or 11 to 12 with a tier 3. Of course, it's RNG related, you could get a lot less, you could get a lot more. It really is just luck. If you want to see how much these fragments are worth, and how much this method currently makes per hour with your setup, then you can come to our Discord. If we come to the commands channel within our Discord, here you can choose which spade you want to use. For me, I'm using a tier 3, but for your sake and for the low budget people watching this video, I'm going to be choosing tier 2. Then you can enter your burrows per hour. The maximum you can get is 700 if you're an absolute demon. Average is between 500 and 600, and if you're a bit slow, don't have all the travel scrolls or running out of mana, you may get closer to 400. But on average, you should be getting about 550, and I'll show you how to achieve this in just a second. Then you can choose if you want to insta sell or sell order the stuff that you get. I'll choose sell order, so you can then press enter and you'll see the current profits per hour, which at the moment is 68 million coins per hour with a setup that costs less than 50 million coins, by the way, which is literally the most ridiculous method I think I've ever seen on Skyblock. You can see the 7 million coins from feathers, as well as also 60 million coins in profit from mythos fragments, which is literally ridiculous. With a tier 3 spade, which bear in mind again costs another 200 million coins or so, you can increase your profits further up to about 92 million coins per hour. So an increase of 24 million coins per hour for just 200 million coins, definitely worth it if you have the cash lying around. If you want to see the updated price, maybe you're watching this video far into the future, then join the Discord, run this command, and you can see the profits at the time that you do the command. Bear in mind though, if you do want to run commands in my Discord, you will need to link your account, as you can see on screen now. There's no verification email, no one-time passcode, none of that nonsense which can get you ratted. There's no risk of getting your account compromised. All you have to do is link your YouTube, then click get roles. And this just shows that you've subscribed to me. As I think me providing you guys with these tools, you subscribing is the least that you could do to support the channel. We have other cool features in the Discord as well, other bot features like hunting stuff. You've probably seen the videos on that already, I won't go into too much detail, but let's now go and show you how to maximize your efficiency and get the most burrows per hour possible. So here we are then, back on Skyblock, and there's one mod which is absolutely crucial for Diana, and that is SBO. If you do /SBO once you've downloaded the mod, which can be found on Modrent, or I'll leave their Discord linked in the description, you can go to the Diana section, and then there's some really useful features in here. I'm not going to go over all of them in detail. One thing that may be useful to you is add warps, where here you can select which warps you have unlocked. So for me, I've got everything apart from the crypt warp. This may be different for you though, however. Another useful thing in your Minecraft control settings, you can set a keybind for your general warp key, and this will help you when finding burrows. So for me, I've got it set to 2, and as you can see, whenever I use my spade, it's going to tell me, for example, that I can warp to stonks. Then if I press that key, it's going to warp me there, and it gets me a decent way of the way there without having to use up mana and teleport. Then you can go dig up the burrow, kill the mob if it is a mob, dig up the burrow again, use your spade again, then you may need to warp again, teleport over to the burrow, dig it up, kill the mob, dig it up again, and just simply repeat. Travel scrolls are a huge time saver as well. Just make sure you're not wasting time dawdling around, running around like an idiot, getting caught in bushes like this, and just make sure you are keeping precise with the ATV and movement. There really is not much more to it. So hopefully with this method you guys can drop so many mythos fragments and sell them for hundreds of millions of coins. If you do have any questions, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. A reminder that you can go and check out the Discord bot if you want to see the updated rates of this method and you're worried that this may not make as much anymore. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.